Hello, everyone, and welcome to Z Talk. This is Henry Zaldivar, your host today. I'm also a client executive here at IT Savvy. And today I bring back my friend and colleague, Jason Ivanitz. He represents Advantech, and he's the vertical account manager for that company. They provide, well, I don't want to get into it because I'm excited when Jason brings these talks about his company and their vertical solutions. Today we're talking about healthcare. We did a video prior for logistics. So if you haven't seen that one, I would encourage you to go to my YouTube channel and go see it. But today we're talking about healthcare and Advantech and who they are and what they're doing in this particular vertical. So my friend Jason's going to talk to you, everybody, about this and present the solutions that they bring to that market. And then we'll close it out. Hopefully you find some interest and reach out to us. So Jason, my friend, it's all yours. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me back. At least I did something right, to bring me back to your very popular show. And thank you so much for not stealing my thunder. I was getting nervous there that you were going to go through my pitch. I had to go and hurry up and do the slides, Henry. So
no, that's not my deal. That's your deal.
Well, I hope I would have done it as good as you. So, but that's the way I feel.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, for having me again back. Before we just jump into the healthcare portion, I know I did this in the previous logistics, but very high level overview real quick of Advantech, because while we're huge in Asia, we're still trying to make our mark here in North America. So a little bit about us and where kind of our sweet spot is in the market. We are when people ask, we are a purpose-built embedded solution company. Now, what I mean by that is that when we talk to CEOs, when we bring up our computers, we ask them, what are you seeing in the market? What do you need from your embedded PCs? And by that, I mean that it's got to be rugged, it's got to be sealed, it's got to be fully cleanable. So when they come back to us with the feedback, we go through and we manufacture our own computers. So now we're going to talk about healthcare today. So I'm going to go through with that. But as we talked about, in our last segment, like logistics, it needs to be very much for the extreme amount of temperatures. It needs to be able to take a beating. Your typical, great companies, the Lenovo's, the Samsungs. If you bring in your standard laptop, your standard computer, you're not going to be able. It's not going to be handled that environment. We make those types of computers and hardware that can withstand that tough environment. So we take a look at the logistics side, like the movement side, and the kind of the conveyor belt, and also like the manufacturing side. We also go and we have specific tablets that go out to the field, the clean room, and the ones that are also in the retail environment, which is now expanding as everybody is starting to come back from COVID. Where it can be also wiped down, where it could have a specialty where you can put your credit card in and swipe back out. So we look at that. We talk again to everybody in that field to get their feedback. For healthcare, it's everything that is being wiped down. It is going to be the color white for everybody in healthcare. You can't have a dark color. So we take all those into account when we bring up and we put together our solution. A little bit about Advantech as a whole. Established in 1983, which is a great year, if you ask me, because that was the year I was born, too. So, they came together perfectly while I'm working here at Advantech. We are a $1.75 billion company. So we're not that $300 million short. We are the largest embedded PC company in the world. That $1.75 billion is a sweet spot, I think, because we're not that huge company where you're going to have to go through 5 different signatures, to get something signed off on. But yet we're not that small minnow and where we're going to be overlooked by some of the companies. So we are right there in the middle. Headquartered here in the United States in Milpitas, California, on the West Coast. We do have our configuration center is up in Irvine, but no matter what, we have a worldwide reach, as you can see here. So if you have customers, not only in North America, but as healthcare expands, we can solve the ones in Europe, we can solve Australia, and of course, where we're headquartered in Asia. Some key things to take away about Advantech in general. Everything that we do is manufactured in-house. And why that is important is we don't have to wait and slap a label. Some of the other companies do, where they have to wait for a machine to come in, they slap their own label on it, and then they send it on out. Then they're self-reliant on that other company. For us, since we internally make that, we're only self-reliant on us. So we control that cycle. When we build our products, it is designed for long life. Our chassis are about 5 to 7 years. That's where we like to build them on. Of course, we update to the next like Intel chipset. We don't keep that as is. You know, we can increase it. However, it's designed for that long life. So when you do a rollout, if your health system has a rollout, 16 months later, if you come and you just did like 1,000 tablets, most likely you might have to come to another vendor and just say, oh, I'm sorry, we're now 2 series in the future. For us, we can remain consistent and keep with that same chassis. So all of your healthcare nurses and doctors, they're familiar with that one chassis. They can stay familiar with that chassis. Life cycle management, much like the lines of design and long life, we control that. We can extend it. We can shorten it. We are in very much communications, again, with not only our customers, the CEOs, is this working? Is this not working? So we do control that, and that's the beauty of being the manufacturer. As I said before, we are the #1 embedded PC for medical. We're in 23 out of the 30 tier 1. So you might be using an Advantech piece of equipment that you just don't know if you go to a hospital. So again, that's where the brand recognition needs to come in. One thing, we have all the certifications. I'm not going to go through all those because medical certifications, I could spend, like Henry, probably like 20 minutes going through all medical certifications. I'm not going to take up that time. We do, though, what is very important, an FDA registered configuration center that is up in Milpitas. And that's great because to get that government, get the government go ahead. And it's great for, if there is any government like a VA, we do pass that test. So that is Advantech in a nutshell. And I want to go ahead. I'm going to go into these in a little bit further deep dive, but want to give the breadth of the products that Advantech has. So as you can see, when we call embedded PCs, that means all the computed solutions. So we have your typical medical computers that you see. So that might be in a hospital room that you see, or could be in a specific doctor's office, all types of sizes, but that is our medical computers. Health information terminals, that's a lot of the bedside infotainments that you see, a lot of the stuff that you see in nursing. And also we can attach phones to that. So that is specific to that. Medical displays, we can go from your simple monitor next to your bed, like a TV-ish, if you will, all the way up to what is like X-ray reading and specific monitoring, where we're going up to like 2-4 megapixels. Also, we have medical tablets. This is the special portion where, again, you could see it's in white. It can take a beating as well. It does have a variety of different accessories and cameras. And then we do have the medical box PCs, but also that can go in ORs, but also, and finally, our medical carts. We have a wide range of medical carts going from telehealth and then to your basic cart. So that is the Advantech, complete offering. To make it the relevance right now of this, Henry, just to see, kind of let your viewers see what's going on in the healthcare market. I think we should bring this up, and this is what we've seen, talking to other reps and then also talking to CISO CEOs at hospitals. First things first is that it's increasing security. There has been a lot of ransom where people held hostage, where for Bitcoin, we are seeing that more and more. There is a lot of security issues, and people just want to have that backup because you just don't want to be the next person on there. You don't want to have that. You don't want to have that because there is some options in healthcare, but in the competitive market that we're seeing, If one person has it and one person doesn't, the general public is going to want to go, I feel safer in going to hospital system X. So they want to make sure, and then also they don't want to have that financial loss. We are seeing a continued growth in telehealth. Telehealth is growing at 150%, 170%. It was growing before COVID came out because people were seeing the need of where people in a rural community can go and they can actually see a doctor instead of traveling 2 to 3 hours. Now they see it as a financial encounter, because then they could see so many patients in a much smaller amount of time. And it is just COVID kind of gave it that push. And now we're seeing a lot of financial from the government to increase the telehealth. So we're not going to see this growth. This would be on my slide, Henry, probably for the next 4 to 5 years. We were going to see telehealth, telehealth, telehealth. One that I think kind of sneaks under the radar is remote patient monitoring. And we're seeing back if we talk about when I was a child, my mom would just say, hey, Jace, they would automatically believe the doctor's words, would do no research. We would be in the pediatrician office, be waiting for hours upon hours, as the doctor got backed up. That is no longer. That's how you would lose patients. People want control of their own health, health systems and health questions. That's why, for better or worse, that's why WebMD is in there. So the remote, you can keep track of your pulse. You can keep track of your sleep. You can keep track of, even your diet. So patients, and then this also goes into senior living because they want to keep track and make sure that there's no falls. So remote patient monitoring has just taken off a lot. A lot of small companies have come up, and you'll see more and more startup companies coming in, probably in the near future here. All-in-one solutions with the complexity of some of the remote patient monitoring, with the complexity of how there's a lot of moving parts in telehealth. Companies want that all-in-one, that one-stop shop solution. They don't want to deal with 4 or 5 different companies because if something goes wrong, as probably Henry, if you've dealt with, in all sectors, something goes wrong, everybody's pointing a finger at everybody else. And right now, with decreased, IT budgets, they're not, they can't handle that. They're looking for that one company. What company can do all of this for us and take care of this and service us? And finally, senior living expansion. I mean, you're in Florida. There's something that's called the silver tsunami, and it's my parents' generation is right now. There's more of my parents' generation than there is of my current generation. And there is a flock to a lot of senior living facilities. There's a lack of nurses. The thing is, when they go into senior care, my grandma when I watched her, she was playing bridge, she was playing cards, and that was it. She was perfectly happy, and maybe bingo. Now, when our parents' generation goes into a senior living facility, they're going to want to see me. And my parents are used to iPad, they're used to technology. They want that type of technology to be available to them. Just having the cards playing bingo is no longer going to be good enough. So the senior living facilities, the older, the 65 and over facilities, there's been a huge growth of that. And there's been a huge technology expansion because they are trying to figure out, okay, what technology can we give them that would be the most both lucrative, but also most interesting to them to make them want to come to that senior center. So that's what we're seeing right now. And I'll go through and Advantech kind of checks the boxes on each of these. So I'll go through each.
By the way, thank you for the silver tsunami, because I now have a thought for another Z Talk here on silver tsunami. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I can't coin that one. I would love to, because if I did, I think that, it would be great where I could, get a nickel for every time I heard silver tsunami. It would be, I'd be a rich man there, Henry. So, yeah. But thank you very much for what you think. So I like to break it down for the Advantech solution. So first off, when you think of hospitals, there's about 4 different areas where you actually have the inpatient units. So the actual room itself, what are you looking, when you sit in a bed, how can you be, you're treated? What are you looking, when you look around a room, what is in the room? So that's the first part. The second part in a hospital is that main entrance and waiting area. So if, your mom, your dad, anybody you know is in surgery, what is around the actual hospital itself? What's keeping you occupied? What's letting you know where they are in the surgery? If hospitals are huge, people get lost. How can I get from the emergency area up to a patient room? How long is that going to take? Then we go into the actual surgical suite itself. I tore my meniscus, so they wheeled me in. And it's a totally different ballgame than if you're just going in a recovery room. Everything is clean. It has to be clean. It has to be high performing. And you have to have it has to meet certain requirements or it cannot be in that room. And then finally, ICU. And that is taking the surgical suite and taking it to the next level, because everything needs to move fast, because this is where life and death could be per second. So you need to make sure you have everything moving very, very fast. So that's how we view hospitals in a nutshell in the 4 different types of areas. Where does Advantech come in then to each of these areas? Well, first, this covers a lot of them. It's our carts. Now, granted, Henry, carts are a very crowded space. There's a lot of companies out there. Yeah. What our cart is, what makes us special, and what we have turned some heads on, is that we, because of the Advantech being a medical manufacturer, are the one-stop shop for your cart. So what I mean by that is the cart in itself is ours, and then also the all-in-one computer that goes onto the cart is ours as well. And the cart that you're seeing right here is the telehealth. So as well, you'll see the camera and the speaker. So everything that you see is made from Advantech. And a lot of our competitors that you see, and it's caused frustration in hospitals where they've ordered the cart, but then they are looking for maybe a secondary, where's the monitor, where's the computers, and it might not be medically certified. For us, we have medical certification on our computers. Our carts, powered carry all those relevant certifications. And when you order an Advantech cart, it is, I know it's an overused term, but plug and play, and we truly mean plug and play, where it comes out, you could pull out the cart and just be ready to go. Also, with the all-in-one computers, is we can make it 256, 512, all the options that you would like, 21, 24-inch. I'll get into that in a second. But if you need something specific that maybe you're used to if you're replacing carts, we can fulfill that. And again, we're very proud of this telehealth cart. And again, that, as I said in the earlier, to start off with one of the trends, we designed this because we were seeing that trend where customers more and more do not want to have multiple, line items. They just want to see one Advantech line item. So that's something we've been seeing. The all-in-one computers, I said earlier that, they're fully capable. We can design our solutions. So to whatever you would like, 4 gig, 8 gig. I know that there is a component shortage right now that we're running into, and people need stock immediately, where we've actually helped win deals as well. We could say, well, okay, you need you need an 8 gig. Well, we do have a 16 gig. Will that work in your computer? Oh my gosh, yes, because we need something for the rooms. Advantech, that's great, because that's the beauty of us being our own manufacturer. So we're able to work with hospitals to get exactly what they want as soon as they need it. It does, the actual medical computer in itself is got all full certifications. It is water resistant and dust resistant, so there doesn't have any fans. So the fans are not blowing dust into the room. You'll see a lot of non-medical computers have that, and that is something you do not want, especially if you're in an ICU. You want to keep the air as flowing as nicely as possible. And also with all of our computers basically, when obviously nurses, especially now, are wearing gloves, when you touch the screen, it is made for where it can have a glove on there and it'll still read properly. So we've designed our computers to actually be able to have that specific touch. We also have Epic, which is a huge EMR. Henry, there's a funny little line. It's like hospitals don't choose Epic. Epic chooses you when it comes to EMR. So they are the select. They have normally the biggest hospitals that are out there. For instance, here in Chicago, like in Northwestern is Epic. We exceed all of those Epic certifications. So that basically, again, to that plug and play portion, you don't have to worry about when you're going through an Advantech computer, is this okay? I mean, or do we have to upgrade it? Or do we have to do anything specific to it? No, we have the Epic certifications already in place. Cerner, which is also another big EMR, we are validated in that as well. So we hold that, and then 3-year warranty. That's typically 2 to 3 year warranty that we have. And then again, going back to the initial everything about Advantech, the product life cycle, again, 5 to 7 years. So you're going to have, when you're having new buildings, you can have that consistency throughout, and that's something that hospitals you want to see. So that's our computers in a very high nutshell. The monitors now as well. These are just the clinical review monitors. So these are the ones that would just be a typical display. Again, we can make them where there's an optional touch screen, and again, the touch screen again through the gloves. We have the full megapixel monitor, so it's like a 2.3 through full LCD. Again, holds all that certification. It has the water and dust resistance, so you're going to can be wiped down with all the cleanings. So if it does get hit, it can take a beating, and then it can be wiped down fully. You're not going to have to worry about that. And then, finally, it is not a thick unit as well. So when you put it on a wall, sometimes you see those kind of the old school TVs, how they stick out like this far, you might bump it. Some of the exam rooms are very, very small. So every inch essentially is important. We make ours very, very slim so that it takes up the least amount of space possible. So that is the review monitors. And then I know this is a really busy slide, but I'm just really quick. So this is what we call our PACS monitors. So these are the ones that are used in the ORs. This can take place. You could see x-rays. You could see up to an extent, just kind of, if there's biopsies. So this is our high end, and it goes all the way up to a 55-inch surgical monitor. So again, when I was in the OR, OR for surgery for my meniscus, took a look, and there is a big screen that's there, so they could take a look from afar and very, very high quality see, okay, this is where Jason's need. Let's make sure that we're cutting it up the right spot, and they did a great job, by the way. So that's where the big medical grade, and it has all the certifications. We do also just released, and it is not here. It is called the Vue. It's VUE monitor, and it still has that coloring. It is not as the PACS is kind of like the high end of this. The Vue is more of the it's financially kind of on the lower. It still has a great certificate, all the certification, everything you need. It's just a lower version. So we offer a wide range for budgets for where they're used to. So again, the Vue actually just came out not more than a couple of weeks ago. So come to us if there is any surgical monitoring needs. Regardless of your budget, we should have you covered on that.
Okay.
Outpatient services is the second portion that we have in terms of health systems. So when you're sitting into a typical hospital or even just a normal doctor's office, patient registration is big. There is no more, the days of the pen and clipboard are either on their way out or they're completely out because again, especially with COVID and right now germs, and that stuff is done because that's just some extra work. And people, the more technologically, looks, the better you're going to get more interest from patients. Diagnostic imaging, again, we talked about that with the PACS, but still, that is big because when you're taking a look and doing the last bit before leaving the doctor's office, you want to take that last look and see, okay, it looks fine. All right, you're good to go, because if they get readmitted into the hospital right after, the hospital system loses money. So they want to make sure that the second that they release you, that it's going to be 100% that you are going to be okay, because they don't want to see you back, because then that would actually knock down the penalties. So that's something very, very important to them. And then pharmacy as well, making sure that everything is, that the right drugs are being submitted, and then also, at the right times for medications. And just seeing that wait time as well. Nobody likes to sit in a Walgreens for 25 minutes. So you could see where you're at, so you can come back at that point. What Advantech does in this area is that we actually have a page. So using our all-in-one computers, we have a patient check-in. And this is stuff that you can also use in the actual waiting. So our tablets can be used for a full check-in. It can be sent on over, so you can put your name, click on, what are you in for the doctor for, and that will be sent on over. Or you can walk up to your the patient kiosk, put in your name, and then we can even print out badges for you, so then you can stick on to make sure that person is passed. And we have cameras as well to double check. So, okay, this person definitely showed up. This person matches up with the person who put his name in there. And that's been a very important security feature that we've actually found. It makes it flexible too, so you can come like 5 minutes, 10 minutes right before your appointment. You're going to check in, and you're not just waiting for a half hour, and you'll be able to see what the wait time is on the machine. Okay, hey, the doctor might be running a little bit late, 25 minutes. At least up front. It's not like a secret. At least you can mentally prepare that. And that while you might not be happy about it, that's that's at least you have that in your head.
Yeah. And knowing up front is better, because how many times, yourself, I know for me a gazillion times that I've gone to the doctor's office and checked in. Oh, I have a 9 o'clock appointment. Okay, great. So I should be seen within 30 minutes. And sometimes it's 2 hours. So, but then again, this is a long time ago, but there was no indicator when I first came in if the doctor's running late or has an emergency, because sometimes, they have to go to the hospital first, take an emergency, and then come in. So it would be nice, like you said, to have a kind of indicator when you sign in. Hey, the wait is 20 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. But coming in, so hey, you know what? I can't wait an hour. Then then you can make a decision. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's also patient satisfaction is more important now than ever. There's HCAP scores. So you might see it if you've been in a hospital recently. I mean, I get some of those surveys back, even just recently. And it's, how would you rate your service? I mean, this is why somebody takes you out on a wheelchair personally, talks to you, and you almost have customer satisfaction people, because you are the government and you are based on how everything goes from start to finish. So just knowing that amount of time, again, trying to keep patients happy, keep that patient satisfaction, that's not only important in keeping patients, but it's also very important financially for for the hospital itself. So moving on to, again, as we had talked about the silver tsunami, as you love so much, Henry, there you go. I'll try to say that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look at that. I love it.
That's some silver.
Hey, you look good. Yeah, I'm not to that point. I don't know if I can grow that beard yet. I'm not sure, but it might take me a month or 2 months to even get to that point. But the silver tsunami for health and assisted living, and again, this was a huge trend that I talked about earlier on. The remote patient monitoring is, especially in senior living, it's falls, it's anything cardio-wise, is trying to grab a stroke ahead of time. So trying to get ahead of any medical issues is huge, especially in senior living. They want to try to get nurses there or get help there as quick as possible. Patient residence, having those tablets, and the tablets have to be, very much be able to take a beating because, they're falling on the floor, they're getting knocked, right? But it's important because, they're going to want to talk to your grandkids. They're going to want that technology again. So again, those are two main things that we've seen in the patient residents. And then a little bit about our tablet. Ours is iGel certified, and it has Imprivata already preloaded on it. We come with two tablets, an 8-inch and a 10-inch. It is a long, actually, I believe it or not, I actually have a beautiful one right here. So
Nice.
It has a camera both in the front and then also in the back, which is important. I know it seems like overkill, but a lot of times you have, carts, and then you have kind of telehealth where you're moving this around, or you could take it and you could see this, from here, you can actually look in a mirror and come back. So there is multiple different types of, multiple cameras on there. We can either support Windows 10 or Android. And then again, it covers this 60601 certification. Again, this is where we bring in the purpose built, so it is for healthcare. We're not going to be able to compete in the same space as, like, if you want a quick Samsung, Lenovo tablet. That's just not where we're at. But if you want that healthcare that will go in the health systems, that will go in your hospitals, that's where the call to Advantech needs to be, because that's where we can fully help you out in that sense. The accessories also set us apart here. I know it's the bottom right here of the slide. Attached to we have an area, it's tough to see from here and here, but you could put on barcode scanners, you could put on holders, you can have additional batteries, so it's a quick swipe in and out. And then also, sometimes you just don't want to handle this all day, so you have a stylus that you can hold on, so it will hold on here, and you can just quickly, if a nurse has to check somebody in, they would tap on it, boom, and that's it, and they would just be able to put it down. So that's key for us. And then again, it's water and dust proof and can still be wiped down. So
Nice.
That's key about our tablets. Finally, it's what we call infotainment. It's the solutions for the bedside, and it's really, really important. Oops, sorry about that. It's important to be for both doctors and then also nurses. So what you need to have is a fanless component. Again, it has to have that IP rating, and then also it has to hold the medical certification, but you need all types of different equipment. So different sizes. Nurses require something different than what might be in a patient room. So what Advantech comes out with for that scenario is our health information terminals. And you'll see on the right side, we have something just as small that could be right by the patient room. It's the 12-inch terminal that you could take a look. And then it goes all the way up to where the 22-inch terminal, where you'll see more in the nurses station, where they can keep track, and then also keep track of where patients are and put that information in. This also can be perfect for, we found a lot of interest in having these right outside the patient rooms, because the names always change. When you're in, you're coming out. So the days of the whiteboard are slowly going away. So having this type of usage, and a lot of companies have moved away because it's not medically certified. Ours can come on in, you can place it in, have it hooked up, and we can constantly change what's on there, or change, if they have allergies. It could be right on the front of the door, right in the front of the door. So when a doctor comes in, a nurse comes in, or even, when your family members come in, you can take a look to make sure that you're not going into the wrong room too. So constantly updated. And again, we do have the additional accessories, as you saw, for the phone. And then we do have the certification, and it's, again, for the total bedside. So that is across the board. I know we went through a lot of the solutions that Advantech does. There is coming up, Henry, from August 9th to the 13th. It's HIMSS, and it is the HIMSS Conference 2021. It is the largest healthcare conference in the United States, and basically medical manufacturers, medical, health systems, all come on in the heat of Las Vegas now this year, and we'll come in. Go and get the latest in healthcare developments. We have Chris Christie is there, former governor of New Jersey. They have a former governor of Virginia. They have like healthcare key members. Those are just two that I had seen. And Advantech will be there. We have a full booth, and I'll be sending out this link to you, Henry. But we do have meeting times for anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, and you can only do so much through the podcast and doing things through slides to really see Advantech's solutions and kind of how we play in the medical space. It's important to see it like hands-on. So if you're coming to the conference, please click on the talk to Henry, click on the Let's Meet, so I can be there personally. I'll be there all the days. I can walk you through all the solutions, and then we do have a select amount of free passes so as well. So while those last, would love to come and see you. So again, we have a huge presence at HIMSS, and look forward to seeing as many of your watchers as possible if they're going to be in that Vegas area between the 9th and the 13th. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
I appreciate it. And I will be sending out through email to my healthcare contacts and let them know that this is coming up, the HIMSS conference in Vegas in August. I'll encourage them to reach out to me so I can kind of give them that white glove service, right? Turning them over to you so that they're going to be taken care of when they get to the event, and set up a time with you to have a more in-depth discussion. Are you going to have any product there on the floor that they can see?
Yeah, all of the product that you see here will be live, where you can touch, play with in person, along with some of we're developing some partnerships too, Henry, with, so some of our equipment is actually preloaded. So again, talking about that one-stop shop. So you'll be able to see some of those partnerships in play. So.
That's awesome. Well, Jason, again, thank you for coming on the show today, talking about Advantech and your healthcare solutions. Amazing, awesome. And again, to reiterate, that all-in-one solution that that kind of like that one point of contact for everything. It's not supposed to having, like you mentioned earlier, your card, and you monitor all different manufacturers and trying to support things and get things assembled properly. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. So I'm glad that you guys are lining up your technology like that. So again, thank you again. And to my viewers, thank you for supporting my Z Talk shows. And I hope to have a few more of these coming up here soon. Maybe Jason surprises and we'll do another vertical. So let's see how the next show goes down the road.
Look forward to it. Yeah, we got plenty up our sleeve, Henry. I can tell you that.
No,
so
I know.
We're lucky to be back. Don't worry.
Healthcare is huge. We did, like I said to my viewers, we did logistics the last time. And I'm sure that Jason and I will be conversing about some future ones. So stay tuned. And again, thank you, Jason, and thank you everybody for tuning in to this show on Z Talk. And have a great one. Take care. Bye, Jason.
Thank you.